deep inside I knew it wasn't true. Since you've been gone, my days are cold and lonely. I just can't seem to want somebody new. As if I didn't know that you were lying, and that your game of love would cause me woe. In spite of all the times you left me crying, I'll play your game as if I didn't know. They warned me that someday I'd learn a lesson, and that a broken heart would be the cause. Believe me when I say that I'm confessing, I'm glad I loved you even though I've lost. As if I didn't know someday you'd hurt me, as if I couldn't tell you'd grieve me so. And even though it's true you did desert me, I still love you as if I didn't know. Looked at you one day, couldn't turn away. Since you're on my mind, there's no peace I find. Sha-la-la, I need you. Sha-la-la, I love you. Sha-la-la, I love you. Sha-la-la, I need you. I can't live without you. But our love was true. Have to go away. Can't you hear me say, oh baby, sha-la-la, I love you.
Premiere.
Send me the pillow that you dream on. Don't You know what? I'll be satisfied being here with you. You set my mind on fire anytime you're near. My body and soul belong to you. Oh, don't ever say we're through. We're still in love on the side. Still in love on the side. You don't belong to me. I don't belong to you. Still we're together. If that's enough for you, it's enough for me.
Lady, I'm your knight in shining armor, and I love you. You have made me what I am, and I'm yours. My love, there's so many ways I want to say I love you. Let me hold you in my arms forevermore. So many have tried to find a love like yours and mine. Girl, don't you realize how you hypnotize? Make me love you more each time. Honey, I'll never leave you lonely. I give my love to you only. To you only. To you only. Only you. Oh, my shining star. And don't you go away. Oh, baby. I wanna be right here where you are until my dying day. It feels so good when we're lying next to each other, lost in love. Baby, when we touch, I love you so much. Make me love you more each time. Honey, I'll never leave you lonely. I give my love to you only. To you only. To you only. You know that I want you, baby. You know that I got to have you, baby.
I wanna wake up with you. I wanna be there when you open your eyes. I want you to be the first thing that I see. I wanna wake up with you. I wanna lay by your side, baby. I wanna feel every beat of your heart. And throughout the night, I wanna hold you tight. I wanna wake up with you. All the love inside me has been sleeping, waiting till the right one came along. You can share the love that I've been keeping, baby. You can put the music to my song. I wanna wake up with you. I wanna reach out and know that you're there. I want you to be the first thing that I see. I wanna wake up with you. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And throughout the night, I wanna hold you tight. I wanna wake up with you.
He said he had to work, so I went to the show alone. They turned out the lights and turned the projector on. And just as the news of the world started to begin, walk away. Forget the love I had for you. Yes, I could find somebody new, but I don't want no one but you. How could you leave without regret? Am I that easy to forget? Before you leave, be sure you find you want her love much more than mine. For I'll just say we never met. I'm not that easy to forget. Before you leave, be sure you find you want her love much more than mine. 'Cause I'll just say we've never met. Am I that easy to forget? You say you found somebody new, but that won't stop my loving you. Easy to forget.
Just one look, and I felt so hard in love with you. I found out how good it feels to have your love.
Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Yeah, hello. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Trintoc Pinal Credit Union 67th Virtual Annual General Meeting. The time now is 2 p.m., and I would like to call the meeting to order. I will do such by sharing the credential report. TPCU Virtual AGM credential report at 2 p.m. Person in attendance, 60. Registered members in attendance, 56. Required quorum, 50. It is important to note that our required quorum to commence our virtual AGM is 50, which is more than the amount registered at this time. Bylaws section 18E states that a quorum for any annual general meeting or special general meeting shall be 50 members or 25% of the total membership, whichever is less. Ladies and gentlemen, considering such, I would now like to state that today's meeting is one that is duly constituted. At this time, I would like to hand over to our secretary, Mrs. Claudette Green-Lewis, to read the notice of the virtual annual general meeting 2021.
Good afternoon. Notice of annual general meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 67th annual general meeting of the Trinidad Penal Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited will be held virtually on the date Saturday 26th June 2021, time 2 p.m. Virtual platform Zoom webinar. The main business of the meeting will be to receive the minutes of the 66th annual general meeting, receive reports for the year 2020 as follows: Board of Directors, Supervisory Committee, Credit Committee, Auditors, presentation of 2021 budget, proposed resolution, proposed bylaw amendments, elect board and committee members, transact any other business. Members are required to pre-register using TPCU e-form. Pre-registration deadline, Friday 18th June 2021. Please note, pre-registration is compulsory for attendance to the virtual AGM. Members did not pre-register will not be able to access the meeting. This is a members forum, and as such, only members will be allowed to attend the meeting. For and behalf of the Trinidad Penal Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited, Claudette Green-Lewis, Secretary. I will now hand over to the moderator, Mr. Omar Maraj, who will take you through the national anthem and the minute of silence, and the credit union prayer. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we recite our credit union prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. And where there's sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardon that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to remain standing as we observe 1 minute of silence in honor of our members who have departed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may now be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to take this opportunity to invite our team leader who continues to lead us in achieving business continuity whilst ensuring the health and safety of our members during the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us all welcome Mr. Perry Jagdew, our president.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Ms. Marina Pierre and members of the cooperative, Ms. Marcia Goodridge, our returning officer, who will be overseeing our elections, Ms. Diane Joseph, a stalwart of the live wire of the Credit Union League, and most importantly, you, our members, the owners of the Trinidad Penal Credit Union. Welcome to our first virtual annual general meeting. We always look forward to on-site AGMs. Not only does it allow us to gain an understanding of the organization's performance, but it also enables us to socialize with friends, those who we have not met or seen for quite a long while. At that time, we share laughter, we share jokes, but sadly, the present situation does not permit us such luxury. We now have to go virtual. And I have been to a number of virtual annual general meetings thus far. And some has lasted for over 5 hours, even 6 hours or more. However, today, as your chairman, my intention is to have a short meeting, one that is effective, and of course, one that fosters engagement. I do not want to expose any member to any of the ergonomic hazards that come with prolonged exposure to a digital interface, and also by extended seating. Also, whilst we are hosting our AGM, it's being hosted on site, and we have several persons on site who are responsible for important back-end work, and that is to ensure smooth delivery of our virtual annual general meeting. But we all know that we have a 7 o'clock curfew. So considering such, it is also important for our on-site persons to reach home safely before such curfew hours. So in light of such, I would like to move a motion at this time for a rising time of 5 p.m. What I mean by that is that once this motion is accepted, when 5 o'clock reaches, wherever we reach during our AGM delivery, we will adjourn. And this will certainly enable our on-site persons to reach home safely before the 7 o'clock curfew hour. Okay, so considering such, I will now like to invite a member to second such a motion for a rising time of 5 p.m. Mr. Peter David.
Good day to all. Peter David, I would like to second the rising time.
Thank you, Peter. Now that that motion has been moved and has been seconded by Mr. Peter David, I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance by all in attendance of our rising time being 5 p.m. Members and ladies and gentlemen, the poll has been launched. Please select one from the choices below. I would also like to take this opportunity to urge each and every single one in attendance to please participate in the poll. Our poll is now closed, and I will share the results with you. 44 persons voted for, 2 persons voted against, abstain 0. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, our motion for rising time being at 5 p.m. has been accepted. Thank you. Now, although we have passed that motion for our standing time to be at 5 p.m., right? During our annual AGM, election plays a critical part. And we have a lot of members who are keen and they look forward for that election. So to ensure that we have ample time allotted for our committee elections, I will now like to move another motion regarding the agenda. So whereas bylaw 22F of the Trinidad Penal Credit Union requires the annual general meeting to elect board of directors, a credit committee, and a supervisory committee, I beg to move that item 13.0 of the agenda be moved up to immediately follow item 11, proposed resolution. That, once passed, will enable sufficient time to ensure that we have our general elections prior to us meeting our rising time. So now that I have moved such a motion, I will now like to invite a member to second such motion. Please do so by clicking the raise hand function located at the bottom of your webinar screen. For all those in attendance, the AGM moderator will quickly engage your mic for you to make your contribution. And please do so by stating your full name by I second. Ms. Keisha Felix, please unmute your mic and make your contribution.
Good afternoon. I, Keisha Felix, second the motion.
Thank you, Keisha. Now that that motion has been moved and second, I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance of such. Ladies and gentlemen, your poll has been launched. Please, again, I would like to encourage each and every one of you all to participate, because here is where it is important for acceptance, and acceptance is dependent upon those who are in attendance. At this time, I would like to close our poll and share the results with you. For acceptance, 56 persons, against 0, abstain 3 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to state that our motion has been accepted by all those in attendance. Acceptance of our standing order. At this time, members, I would like to invite a member to move a motion for the acceptance of our standing order. And again, I would like to encourage you by clicking the raise hand function. Mr. Ralph Mitchell, please unmute your mic and make your contribution.
Good afternoon, Ralph Mitchell. I would like to move the acceptance of the standing orders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. I will now like to invite a member to second such motion. Again, please do so. Good afternoon, Mr. Felix, Rudolph Felix. Could you please unmute and make your?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I, Rudolph Felix, wish to second that motion.
Thank you, Rudolph. So members, now that we have moved a motion for the acceptance and same has been seconded by Mr. Rudolph Felix, I would now like to launch a poll for general acceptance of our standing order. Just 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, your poll has been launched. Please select one from the choices listed below. Thank you. Our poll has now ended, and I would like to share the results with you. For 60 persons, against 0, abstain 2 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, acceptance of our standing order has been granted. At this time, I will now like to invite a member for acceptance of our 2021 brochure. Please do so by raising your hand, of which the AGM moderator will engage your mic to allow you to make your contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite a member to move a motion for the acceptance of the 2021 brochure. Mr. Winston Sam.
I, Winston Sam, do so move.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. Can I now have someone second such a motion? Ms. Keisha Felix.
I, Keisha Felix, second the motion.
Thank you, Keisha. Now that we have moved such a motion and have same seconded by Ms. Keisha Felix, I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance. Members, ladies and gentlemen, your poll has been launched. Kindly select one from the choices listed below. Thank you. Our poll has now ended, and I would like to take this opportunity to share the results with you. For 63 persons, against 0, abstain 3 persons. ladies and gentlemen, our 2021 brochure has been accepted. Confirmation of the minutes of the 66th annual general meeting. I would now like to have that screen shared with you. Screen, share the screen. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Omissions and corrections, I will just go through page by page. If there are any omissions and corrections, please, you can utilize the chat question feature or the question and answer feature located at the bottom of your screen. Are there any omissions and corrections that anybody would like to bring forward? If not, I would like to invite a member to confirm the minutes of the 66th annual general meeting. Please do so by clicking on the raise hand function, which is located at the bottom of your webinar screen. Mr. Ananias Johnson.
Good afternoon, Ananias Johnson. I beg to confirm.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Can I now have someone second? Mr. Calvin Sargent.
My name is Calvin Sargent. I would like to second that motion.
Thank you, Calvin, for your contribution. Now that we have moved a motion and second such, I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance of the minutes of the 66th annual general meeting. Members, the poll has been launched and will remain up for the next 20 seconds. Please select from the choices listed below. Our poll has now ended, and I will take this opportunity to share the results of our poll. For 65 persons, against 0, abstain 4 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, our minutes has been confirmed and generally accepted. Business arising. I will now like to have our minutes shared again with you so we can go through page by page. And if there are any business arising, please, you can type your questions through the question and answer feature located at the bottom of your webinar page, or you can raise your hand and the AGM moderator will address your concerns and engage your mic for you to make your contribution. I would now like to have the minutes again shared with you. Just 1 second, we're getting it up. Roll, just take me up to the minutes of our meeting. Good. Scroll. Roll. I want the minutes. The same thing is shared just now. I would now like to go through. If there are any business arising, again, I would like to encourage you all to utilize the question and answer feature located at the bottom of your screen, or raise your hand so the AGM moderator could engage your mic to make your contribution. Thank you. I have Ms. Avian Brong. Avian, please unmute and you can make your contribution.
Good evening. Good evening,
Good afternoon,
Chairman,
Avian.
and to all present. My question is on page 15, item 1, paragraph 2. Page 15. Could you please give some clarification on the percentage and fall in interest on loans? I see it as the book has it here as 32%.
Okay.
Could you give a bit of a clarification on it?
Sure. Neil, are you in a position to have your report in front of you, Daniel?
Sorry, President, what's the question again? Repeat the question. On page 15.
Avian? Avian, can you just kindly repeat the question?
Sorry, my mic was muted. You hear me now, right?
Yes, I am.
I'm asking please for clarification on the percentage and fall in interest. Is it 2019, it was 8.596 and 2020, 6043. So is the difference there 30 or 32?
And which page are you referring to, sorry?
Page 15, the bottom of the page, introduction, item 1, second paragraph.
Roll, you can bring up that page.
Yes, it's coming on.
Right, just to the bottom.
Yeah, so the revenue, interest in which we receive, it fell when compared to
Right.
correct, okay.
Good. So 2019, it was 8.596. 2020, it was 6043, right? The statement reads it fell by 32%. But is it 32 or is it 30?
30.
Just give me a second and recalculate, press. That's correct. It would have been 30% in interest.
Yeah,
But
not 30.
correct. Yes, we are typo.
And on page 16, are we going page by page?
Yeah, Avian, I am just about to go into the reports and stuff like that. So if you can just hold your question, we are going right now into the board report. So as soon as I get through there and I come to the questions, of course, you could raise the question. So I just want to follow through with it. Would that be okay?
Yes, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no business arising out of our minutes, I would now like to move on for adoption of reports. And we have a number of reports tabled, one being the Board of Directors report, of which now I will share with you and same to be scrolled. Great. So Board of Directors report. Scrolling. If there are any questions, please, just as Avian would have done, click on the raise hand function located at the bottom of your webinar screen, and you will immediately be highlighted, and the AGM moderator will engage your mic for you to make your contribution. Thank you. I know many would have had the opportunity to do their pre-read. So now, are there any questions as it pertains to our Board of Directors report? Mr. Aldwin Brown, please unmute your mic and you can make your contribution.
Hi, good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown.
And on page 16, item 2, financial highlights.
Page 16.
Right, financial highlights. Paragraph 1. And the statement refers to a surplus of 6.1 million. However, the table below says the surplus as 505.259. And with surplus before or after appropriation. Right, what is the correct figure?
Neil, did you get that question? I know we had a little bit of feedback coming in there, but I was hoping that you would have gotten the question that was asked by Mr. Brown.
Correct, yeah. So the 6.1 is in net surplus before appropriation. The 5.2 was surplus after appropriation. So after they transferred to the reserve funds and after the education committee, the net surplus was 5.2. But before the amount transferred to the reserve and education fund, it was 6.1.
Right, but the table, those figures in the table are what? Before or after we? Because the table should have been reflective of what would have been in terms of the financial highlights. Right, so the table should have, is it the table supposed to be 6.1 as well? Because we should be consistent in terms of what we are reporting and presenting in the table.
No, so the table has the amount after appropriation, and that's surplus after appropriation. Normally within the table, it for the previous years always states the amount after appropriation. However, the financial analysis isn't exactly mirrored towards the table, but mirrors basically based on the financial statements itself. And if you, when we go down further to the financial statements, you would see that the reserve, the net surplus before appropriation is 6.1.
Okay. All right, okay, thanks for that explanation. As well, there was a pie chart that was presented. We're not too sure what that pie chart represents. All right, after the bar chart, right, it wasn't labeled, I don't think it was labeled, so we're not too sure what it actually represented.
Mr. Brown, what page are you referring to?
It's coming up there. So it's after all these bar charts. All right, so this pie chart here.
Okay, great.
All right, it doesn't indicate what exactly it represents. What is
Okay,
it?
so
Wasn't clear to me.
on the top right hand side, you would see the heading expected credit loss provision and loans. That is basically a breakdown of the expected credit loss, and it's just the pie graph, the pie chart represents that.
Also, the pie chart is with respect to this set heading to the top of the growth in membership. So apparently it is a bit misplaced then. In terms of the narrative, because the narrative is
correct. Yeah, the growth in membership 2016 should have been as a graph standalone, and then the next heading would have been expected credit loss provision on loans, and then the pie chart will follow that narrative.
Okay, then, yeah. Okay, that's about clarification.
No problem, Mr. Brown, and thank you so much for your contribution. Are there any other questions as it pertains to the board report? If there are none, I will now like to invite a member to move a motion for the adoption of the Board of Directors report. Ms. Christina Bahadur Hussain.
Good afternoon, Christina Bahadur Hussain. I'd like to move the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Christina. Can I now have someone second such motion? Mr. Winston Sam.
I, Winston Sam, second that motion.
Thank you. I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance and adoption of our Board of Directors report. The poll has been launched and it will be up for the next 20 seconds. Please select one from the choices listed below. Again, I would like to take the opportunity to encourage all those who are in attendance to participate in the poll. But this truly gives us a reflection as to the adoption being generally accepted by all. Our poll has now ended, and I will share the results with you. For 59 persons, against 0, abstain 5 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Directors report has been accepted. We now like to move into adoption of our credit committee report. Thank you all. And it is going to go through the following pages. If there are any questions, please click on the raise hand function. We do have the chairperson of our committee as one of our panelists. Are there any questions as it pertains to our credit committee report? Members, if there are no questions, I will now like to invite a member to move a motion for its adoption. Please do so. Ms. Hyacinth Smith.
I, Hyacinth Smith, would like to move the motion for the adoption of the credit report.
Thank you, Hyacinth. Can I have someone second such? Mr. Peter David.
I, Peter David, would like the second.
Thank you. Members, now that we have moved a motion and have seen seconded by Mr. Peter David, I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance and adoption of our credit committee's report. A poll has been launched. Please select from one of the choices listed below. Our poll is now ended, and I would like to take this opportunity to share the results with you. For 67 persons, against 0, abstain 2. Ladies and gentlemen, members in attendance, our credit committee report has been accepted. Moving on into the adoption of our supervisory committee's report. At this time, I would like to share the report with you, go through pages, and if there are any questions, please utilize the raise hand function. Supervisory committee report. Thank you. Good. So at this time, I would like to invite a member to move a motion for the adoption. Mr. Calvin Postam. I saw Mr. Pustamal raise his hand. Mr. Ananias Johnson, please unmute your mic and make your contribution.
Ananias Johnson, I beg to move.
Thank you, Mr. Ananias. Can I have someone second? Ms. Keisha Felix.
I, Keisha Felix, like to second the motion.
Thank you, Keisha. At this point in time, I would now like to launch a poll since we have gotten the motion moved and same has been seconded. This poll is for the general acceptance of our supervisory committee's report. The poll has been launched. Please select one from the choices listed below. Our poll is now ended. I would now like to share the results. For 65 persons, against 1, abstain 6. Ladies and gentlemen, Supervisory Committee's report has been accepted. We'd now like to go into adoption of the Education Committee's report. And I will have Sam share with you where we were going to go through page by page. If there are any questions, please use your raise hand icon, or you can utilize the question and answer feature located at the bottom of your webinar screen. Thank you. If there are no questions, Ms. Avian Brong, please unmute and you can make your contribution.
Good evening again, members. My question is, could you tell us about the training plan for the organization, and that is inclusive of members? Training plan for the Board of Directors, Supervisory Committee, Credit Committee, and the Education Committee, if there was one, please.
Okay, Avian. Just recently, we had conducted a training need assessment and also competency assessment via form. We had obtained the necessary feedback, and we have been working with the Education Committee to develop training programs for the Board of Directors, Credit Committee, Education Committee, Supervisory Committee, and all members of staff. We have identified a number of gaps, and of course, directly related to the task at hand, and especially the committee responsibility. We are working on developing those programs, and right now our present Education Committee is working on putting together and reaching out to the external providers so we can have those courses and implemented. But it's our intention to certainly move into that direction, and we're looking to start that training both internally, co-opting the services of members who are qualified to do such. But certainly we are moving into that direction, and that is something on our front burner right now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Avian. Ms. Indira Jagasa.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hi, Indira. Good afternoon.
It's always a pleasure. The question, considering that we are in this virtual space, the question is for the Education Committee in terms of the level of orientation provided to our membership for participation in this in this session, in this August session that we are viewing. So the specific question, the Education Committee, what orientation
Ms. Jagasa, I'm losing you.
or training provided to our membership so as to gain, as if at all, for our membership to feel carried. Hello?
Yes, I kind of lost you thereabouts. I'm sure all of us didn't really grab what you were contributing. So if you could just repeat it, because I would really like everyone to have an understanding of the question that you are bringing forward.
Yeah.
Mr.
When I-
Yeah, Mr.
that's
Agus,
fine.
yes, go
That's
ahead.
fine.
I'm hearing
Calling
you.
from Santa Cruz. Yes, yes. So, all right. So if it drops some on data, my apologies to everyone. The question is
problem.
what orientation and or training was provided by our membership for preparedness to participate in this August AGM?
Right. What we had done, we had created attendees guide, okay, which outlined and simplified the entire process as to how to go about the annual general meeting and navigation, as well as the interface. The intention when we had sent out the pre-registration for all members is to also have a training program. But all the response that we have received, as a matter of fact, a huge percentage of the registered members, when we try to send out invites, we got about 40% of that being bounced back by email. We had to contact each person out via their phone to verify their email address. There were a number of errors in the email address by some persons who would have pre-registered. So whilst we were trying to sort that out to ensure that these email addresses are correct to receive the voting link as well as the webinar link, we also shared with them the attendees guide, right? And also there are also the contact for the IT that they could also contact should they encounter any problem. But what we had done is simplify the entire navigation, the interface with our pictorial representation on a PDF document and share that with all those who would have registered. But I do understand your concern. You were looking along the lines of us probably having some sort of couple orientation with the members, running through the whole navigation process and stuff like that. Yes, I do understand that. That was our initial plan, but we had to do a lot of cleanup on the emails and stuff because, and to be honest with you, that was expected. I mean, it's the first time that we are venturing onto the virtual platform to host an annual general meeting. And of course, you know, we do have aged membership. So it's certainly a challenge and some are still experiencing the challenge, right? As it pertains to the navigation and stuff like that. But we try to simplify that attendees guide as simple as possible using pictures and graphics from the actual screen, as well as copies and pictures of the email they would receive. So they could quickly, and I mean, I am happy to see that right now, I mean, we have over 108 persons in attendance. So I'm happy to see that a lot would have read that guide and hopped on. That's excellent. Okay. Mr. Winston Babwa. Please unmute and you can make your contribution.
Yeah, pleasant good evening, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
I will say congratulations to the team again. But my deepest concern is that for the longest while we are trying, the new members are trying to be aware and understand the benefits of the credit union, and for some reason that has been put in off and you know, and since we have this virtual AGM, can the directors direct some form of training or awareness to the new members of the benefits to the credit union society, please? Thank you.
And I welcome that suggestion. And what I would also like to add is that right now the education committee is putting together a survey, right, which will be sent out to every member via their phone, so they can click and enter the survey. And it works with now, where are we feeling? And of course, one of the questions in that is what it is we can use, or how do you prefer being notified of our products and services and stuff like that. We have also just 2 days ago launched our website. So that is something that we're going to utilize heavily in portraying what our existing products and services are about. Also, we'll be utilizing our Facebook page. But what happens is that whilst we have these avenues and stuff, we need to make sure that it is something that the members and them interact with. So certainly now that survey is scheduled. It's about 90% completed. The board had looked at it just recently. So we're about to send that out to all the members and them. And from that feedback, then we will know if we are really and truly focusing in the right direction as it pertains to sensitizing the membership of what we have existing, our products and services, our promotions, etc. So certainly I welcome that suggestion. It's something that we have been looking at. Thank you for such. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, if there are no more questions, can I have invite a member to move a motion for the adoption of the Education Committee's report? Mr. Peter David.
I, Peter David, would like to move the motion for the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Peter. Can I have someone now from the second such, Mr. Michael Grant? Please unmute and make your contribution.
I, Michael Grant, second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Now that we have moved the motion by Mr. Peter David and second same by Mr. Michael Grant, I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance of the Education Committee's report. When the poll is launched, again, I want to use the opportunity to encourage each person who is in attendance to please participate in the poll. It is very important that you participate in the poll. So your poll has been launched and it will be up for the next 20 seconds. Please select one from the choices listed below. Good. Our poll has now ended, and I would like to declare the results as it pertains to the acceptance of the Education Committee's report. For 65 persons, against 1 person, abstain 7 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, members in attendance, Education Committee's report has been adopted. Now I'd like to go into adoption of the Nominations Committee report. So at this time, I would like to invite the moderator to share same with you. Are there any questions? If not, can I invite a member to move a motion for the adoption of the Nominations Committee report? Ms. Christina.
Good
Bahadur
afternoon.
Hussain.
Yeah. Christina Bahadur Hussain. I beg to accept the Nominations Committee report.
Thank you, Christina. Can I now invite someone to second such motion? Good. So, I'm sorry. So, Mr. Ananias Johnson. Please
I,
unmute.
Ananias Johnson, beg to second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Now that we have moved a motion for adoption of the nominations committee report, and the same has been seconded. I will now like to share a poll with you for general acceptance of our nominations committee report. Your poll has been launched, and as I indicated before, it will be up for the next 20 seconds. Kindly choose one from the choices listed below. Our poll is now ended, and I would like to share the results with you. For 66 persons, against 1, abstain 6 persons. At this time, I would like to declare that our nominations committee report has been generally accepted. Acceptance of our auditors report. And at this time, I would like to invite our auditor, who is a member of our panelists right now, to address you all in reading the auditor's report. Mr. Mohan Ramnath.
Good afternoon, members. For the purposes of this meeting, I'll be presenting a summarized report. The full audit report will be shared on screen with you. Independent auditor's report to the members of Trintok Penal Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. We have audited the financial statements of Trintok Penal Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited, which comprises the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2020, statement of comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows, and receipts and payments account for the year then ended, and incorporating summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory notes. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statement present fairly in all material respects the financial position of Trintok Penal Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited as at 31st December 2020, and the results of its operations and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards. Audit is conducted in accordance with international standards on auditing, and we are independent of this society in accordance with the IASB code. We have fulfilled our ethical responsibilities in accordance with this code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is significant and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Management is responsible for the information included in the society's annual report. If based on the work we have performed, we conclude that there is a material misstatement on this other information, we are required to report that fact, and we have nothing to report in this regard. Management is also responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with international financial reporting standards, and for such internal control as they determine is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. Our objectives are to maintain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. The engagement partner for this audit is Rujan and Maharaj, and our audit report is signed Murad Mohammed and Co., Trinidad and Tobago, Chartered Accountants, on March 2020. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions as it pertains to the auditor's report? Ms. Avian Brown?
Could you please refer to page 32, paragraph 1, last line?
Page 32, paragraph 1, last
line. Yes.
Okay, we're going to scroll down to it.
Page 32, sorry, paragraph 1 on page 32. paragraph 1 opinion, the last line of that first paragraph. The paragraph that starts with opinion.
Here we're locating it now. We're just pulling up to find it. Right.
Right. It starts significant accounting policies and other explanatory notes as stated on page 6 to 30. But I think the explanatory notes are on pages 36 to 60.
Pages 6 to 30 would be the original financial statement that we audited.
Okay, so when we are looking at this this report here, when you say 6 to 30, I would be looking at pages 6 to 30 in the book itself. So I needed that bit of clarification. Hello?
Yes, Neil or Mr. Mohan.
Yeah, pages 6 to 30 would have been this report is adapted from the original financial statement that we audited. So our original report here would say 6 to 30, but the brochure obviously would be different pages, different reports that are amended. So obviously the page sequencing would go out. It'll be a little bit different from the original audited report, which is what you're looking at in front of you.
Yes, so I'm understanding that now, but maybe some kind of a reference could have been made because it could be misleading. I understand what you're saying, but it could be misleading.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But again, this is the original report and it's not amended because this is the report that we presented to them at the with the financials.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Ransom.
Yes, good day, everyone. The IFRS 9 provisioning for expected losses is done for loans. Shouldn't that also be done for investments, given that our investment income is now the major contributor to our revenue stream?
Mr. Ransom, IFRS 9 is adapted for investment and loans.
Yes.
Your investment is stated at fair value, which is already taken into account IFRS 9.
The question is, shouldn't provisions be made for investments also?
Yes, provisions are necessary, but in your case, the investments are stated at fair value, which is already adjusted for IFRS 9. So you would not see an adjustment on the financial statements to say investments less IFRS 9 or fair value adjustments. It has already been reflected at fair value.
Now, okay, we can argue this because the fair value, in fact, you can have impairment even though you are quoted at fair value. There could be impairment of the investment.
As at the end of the year, the statements are valued as at that date. So IFRS provision is always taken into account with the assessment. So it's already adopted in your investment. And Neil, you could shed a little more light on it with what your policy is. The credit union has adopted IFRS 9 for investments and loans. And again, the treasurer could be able to expand on that more for you.
Okay.
Correct. So the investment is recorded at fair value. So if as at the end of 31st December 2020, you have measured your investment at fair value, basically implying if at that point in time you were to sell your investment, the fair value you would achieve is the given price at that point in time, then there is no need to further impair it at that point in time. And hence it covers or takes into consideration the expected loss based on the IFRS 9, because you're already valuing it at what you could dispose of. So in other words, if you were sell it to the 1st of December, whatever value it's in the financial statements, if you were to dispose of it, that is the exact amount you will get, nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you, Neil, and of course, Mr. Mohan. I have Mr. Winston Barber. Mr. Barber, please unmute your mic and make your contribution.
Yeah, as the other guy contributed, when you look at the financial statement for the fiscal year, now it is contradicting me just as the other contributor said, because I am going through it, and just as I said, it is from page 30, but when you look on it, it is not clearly, you know, it is not, I'm still not clearly not understanding it. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Barber, we have both our auditor as well as the treasurer here with us.
So yeah, and the point is noted regarding they say when the auditors prepare the financial statement, they prepare an opinion based only on the financial statements, and at that point in time, they would not have the full brochure to note the total amount of pages and where in that brochure it falls. I understand that we take note that probably in future we probably should put on a appendix or some sort of explanation to state that regarding the brochure itself, the notes that accompanies the financial statements will fall in the specific pages within the brochure.
But this is clearly my point. This is clearly my point. Thank you.
Okay. So again, are there any further questions? No? Okay, so at this point in time, I would like to invite a member to move a motion for acceptance of the auditor's report. Mr. Ralph Mitchell.
Good afternoon. I beg to move that the auditor's report be accepted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Can I have someone second? Mr. Imtiaz Mohammed.
I, Imtiaz Mohammed, second the auditor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. So now that we have had a motion moved by Mr. Ralph Mitchell and seconded by Mr. Imtiaz Mohammed, I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance of our auditor's report. The poll has been launched. Our poll has now ended, and I would like to share the results with you. For 67 persons, against 0, abstain 5. Ladies and gentlemen, auditor's report on financial statements has been accepted. This time, I will now like to hand you over to our treasurer, who has been meticulous and continuously assessing our current and future projections reviewing our cash flows and expenditures to ensure a level of financial stability for our organization. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now like to welcome our treasurer, Mr. Neil Johnson, who will read to you our proposed budget presentation. Mr. Johnson.
Afternoon, everyone. Proposed budget 2021. Income, interest on loans, $6,577,606. Income from investment fixed deposits, $7,330,388. Other income is $12,000, giving us a total income of $13,919,994. Expenditure. All officers meeting social events, $15,000. Advertising, $18,000. Annual general meeting, $90,000. Audit fees, $49,250. Bank finance charge, $400,000. Board and committee expense, $702,000. Billing maintenance, $80,000. Billing upgrade, one-off expenditure, $500,000. Capital expenditure, $88,950. Computer and office equipment maintenance, $45,000. Credit Union League dues, $25,000. CUNA LP LPUS LS, $520,000. Depreciation, $80,000. Disposal of assets, nil. Donation sponsorship, $15,000. Education committee, $75,000. Green fund levy, $41,200. Pension and insurance and pension, $220,000. Interest on members' fixed deposit savings, $1.1 million. Office expense, $70,000. Professional fees, legal, bailiff, compliance, $55,000. Provision for bad and doubtful debts, $3 million. Salary, contract, labor, $850,000. Security fees, $100,000. Subscription, sundry, $36,000. Telephone, internet, $36,000. Training and development, $50,000. TransUnion, $33,885. Total expenditure of $8,295,285. Surplus for 2021 budget forecasted as $5,624,709.
Thank you, Neil. Are there any questions? Mr. Devnarayan Jagannath, kindly unmute and you can make your contribution.
Yeah, I'm concerned about audit fees. Did we sample 3 or 4 auditors to find out their fees before we put 49,000 in this budget, because that is extremely high audit fee, and I keep on saying this time and time again. These audit fees are extremely high compared to a small organization of 2,000 members. When the Credit Union League, it pays much less for their audit fees.
As usual for us to get quotes regarding the audit fees. Our current auditors is one of the reasonable quotes we have received. But in making the decision, in addition to cost, we also take into consideration the competency of the auditors, whether it is they have passed their practice monitoring by our local accounting body, because each auditor, each auditing firm goes through a process where their working papers are assessed to determine whether it is they're in compliance with all these standards and all the accounting and auditing standards.
Neil, I still believe that is a high fee, and I'm holding it to if you can justify to me the about 4 or 5 audit fees that you have compared before you said before you put this in the budget, I will appreciate that, because this is extremely high. I mean, I have seen organizations where the audit fees is 13 to 15,000, and they have much more income and expenditure as we are the credit union. So I am not taking too lightly to this high audit fee.
Neil, I believe the audit fees also has the AML compliance audits included in that
Correct.
figure that you have there. So you need to make that clear to them.
So yeah, so as part of the annual audits we do, we have the financial audits, and the financial audit, the fees are around 36,000, and our FIU audit, which is an different or additional to the financial audit, is around 12,000, giving us a total of 49,000. So it's made up of two aspects.
You have not convinced me. I am still of the opinion that this is extremely high, and I will hold you all accountable to this, because I am in other organizations that the audit fees are much less than this, and we have much more income and expenditures as compared to the credit union. So I'm still of the opinion that this is extremely high, and I would like to see the comparison of all the auditors that you have surveyed to get input, because I kept on saying this since I serve on the board, that the thing is extremely high and nobody takes me on, and we keep on plugging along and saying that this is a acceptable thing. Not at all, because if it's the credit union money that is being expended, we are the members of the credit union. We have a say in justifying who gets the audit, and I'm not convinced that you can come and tell me that this is acceptable. Sorry.
Definitely noted, and unfortunately I haven't got the other quotes with me, but I will make that information available regarding the quotes we receive and the costing that we got from each firm.
But then we cannot approve the budget.
Understood, but at this point in time, I'm working remotely, so I don't have the quotations with me.
Okay, Mr. Winston Barber, you have a question and your hand was up for quite a while. Mr. Barber, just unmute.
Yeah. I have one question concerning the security fees. We having a budget of $100,000 per year for security. I want to understand, and I keep seeing it keep escalating, and I'm trying to understand why.
Okay, so the security feed is made up of two elements. One, we recently implemented a physical guard at the office. Previously, we never had a physical person being there. And the second element of it is all our pickup for cash is done by G4S Security Company. And they basically, for every pickup they make, they will charge a fee. But the security would have increased mainly because of the physical person being present on a daily basis.
Yes, but my question remains is that there are 900 legitimate security firms, and are we taking quotation from the other security firms, or we just have one specific and they give us one quotation and we agree to that?
No, again, all services we obtain a minimum of three quotes. And that would have been done the same for the security company that's currently in presence.
Yeah, but my question remains. I am continuing seeing an increase in the security service, where I am not seeing the value of that, because at the same time I am seeing a bank charge. So I'm trying to understand, how the security working with the bank charge. I'm trying to get that in my head. And why all I want to find out, why the security cost is going up. That's all I want to find out.
Okay, so the security fee would have increased from last year to this year. Last year, we started the physical presence of someone in the office, I believe midway during the year, and that is in 2019. In 2020, we'll have the person for an entire year. In 2020-21, the fee you are seeing here will remain consistent because the person will be running for an entire year again. So the only variation from 19 to 20 would have been because we started the security either mid or second or third quarter thereabouts. So hence it would have been less because we didn't capture an entire year fee as compared to 2020.
Thanks, Neil. Mr. Alwyn Brown, I saw you had your hand up there for a while. We have a number of persons as well with their hand up. So I'd just like to encourage you guys in them. So please be brief with your questions. Mr. Brown?
Yes, good afternoon again. Going back into
piggybacking
on the question concerning the audit. Now, I don't think it was satisfactorily answered in terms of, well, the cost and the process for selecting the auditors. Right? I know there's a forum in terms of giving feedback to the members, be it online, subsequent to the meeting, in terms of how many auditors were invited, right? And the cost at which bids came in, and I suspect that is the process by which the auditor would have been selected. So at least a determination could have been made. Maybe that could be made available to the members, so at least we are comforted, right, in knowing that the process that was used in selecting the auditors, as well as, right, is there such a forum to give feedback to the members? Because the question wasn't answered in terms of the number of persons who would have submitted bids and the different costs. That is one, and as well as how long did the audit process actually take?
So regarding the first part of questions, of course, all questions being placed in the question and answer segment will be responded to. We will respond directly to the individual via email. Also, it will be published online via the website. The audit process is normally done in two steps. There's an interim process where the auditor will come in during the year before the financial year, and then they also come after the financial year. And the entire process probably would have taken about 3 to 4 weeks thereabouts, at my estimate.
So is it that questions that are asked via this medium that are not answered would not be posted in terms of the questions and answers in the area? Because I think those questions that do not have an answer should in fact be addressed, if not cannot be addressed verbally, but at least addressed in some medium or the other.
Definitely. All questions will be answered. Once it hasn't been answered verbally, it will be answered in a forum by close of business Monday, and that was part of the standing orders, that we would make sure to cover all the questions that have been asked, because we knew there would have been a limited time in which we need to ensure the meeting is completed within.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Brown. Mr. Loisa Samuel, please just unmute and you can make your contribution.
Yes, good afternoon all.
Good afternoon.
I just wanted to lend my support to the points that were made both by Mr. Jagannath and Mr. Babwa, in that contracted services, they should be supported by an indication of a selection process based on bid costs. And if this information can be provided where necessary in the statement, then it will eliminate these questions that are being raised. That's the point I'm seeking to make here now.
Thanks for making that comment, and it's certainly something that we will consider, as you rightfully say, once we have those being seen and being observed and displayed by all. Of course, it reduces the amount of questions, because there have been a number of questions as a result, as it pertains to such. And as the treasurer had indicated, our normal process is one whereby we have a 3-bid system. but certainly adding that to the report will certainly assist, in those who are reading it, having a greater appreciation for how it goes. So I do welcome that. Thank you. Mr. Danny Jattam, your hand has been up for quite a while. I do apologize.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, so my question is, I'm looking at the actual results, 13.2 million total income, and you all have budgeted 13.9 million income. Yet the budgeted expenditure went up from 7 million to 8.2 million, an increase of 1.2 million versus an increase of 700,000 for the income. Can you all provide a justification for that?
Sure. One of the major increase in expenditure regarding the actual results would have been a building upgrade that in 2020 where no actual expenditure were incurred, even though the intention was there. But because of the COVID situation, did not allow us to incur any expenditure there. We at the beginning of this year as well, when the budgets were being looked at end of December, beginning of January, we had forecasted $500,000 again to see with the intention of improving the current building we are at. Simply because there are two major things that needs to be done. The roof on the current building is asbestos, and also the electrical infrastructure, because it was an old building, needs work being done. And that has been budgeted for around $500,000 to see with the intention of being completed this year. So far, no work has been done simply because of, again, the COVID situation. But at the beginning of the year, when the country started to, our movements were started to allow, we were hoping to be able to accomplish that. And at this point in time, it's difficult to say whether we'll be able to follow through, depending on, again, what happens with the COVID situation.
Okay. Second and final question. While others discussing, a $49,000 audit fee, I would like to know why is there budgeted $702,000 for board and committee expenses when last year the actual expenditure was just $564,000.
Okay, and again, it goes back to the COVID situation last year. Majority of the meetings held by all committees were done virtually. And again, when we were looking at the budget at the beginning of this year, we were the direction the country was heading, we were hoping to revert back to physical meetings. And hence we had factored the cost of having physical meetings into the budget. Just as well, if you look at the AGM cost as well, the AGM cost actually cost $55,000 in 2020 because it was curtailed. Again, initially when we were making the budget, we were hoping by May to have a physical meeting. And hence we budgeted in $90,000, but again, it's virtually, so it was a virtual meeting. So the cost of that $90,000 would not be realized simply because there isn't that physical presence.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Imtiaz Mohammed. Imtiaz, you can unmute your mic and make your contribution.
Yes, Pres.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No
I just want to, I know we already passed that stage and we're moving forward, but I just want to go back to the audit. Our procedure is that we must get 3 quotes from auditors, but we cannot go and take any auditors just like that. Say they right now there are 200 auditors, so from that 200 we got there are processes in which we have to select auditors, and we have to follow the CSA, Cooperative Societies Act 8103. So we just can't go on the market just like that and just take any auditor. Thank you, President.
Thanks, Imtiaz. Mr. Dylan McKenzie.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. McKenzie.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
about. Yes.
My question is, I just want to find out if you're reached in the area of page 48.
Neil.
Let's confirm, Prince. Page 48.
In reference with loans.
Page 40 is part of the financial statements, Prince, which we have already moved a motion.
Already move a motion, right?
Yes, because we're currently on. But go ahead with your question. That's no problem.
My question is, I saw they have qualified for loan 0.5 to 1%. Who are the persons well qualified for the 0.5%?
So the 0.5 is secured loans, and individuals who have sufficient shares to cover the amount being requested or borrowed, it will be considered a secured loan, and you would be able to obtain that particular rate. And it is simply because the risk of lending to someone who shares covers their loan is next to minimal for the credit union. Because in the event of default, the credit union can lien on the shares.
In reference to the default, like for example, like within the last 3 years, I've been people unable to meet a loan because of probably loss of employment, medical or health reason, or even self-COVID. In terms of payments, of if you could, what will it do to reach out to the members?
Right, so Mr. Dillon, we have documented that question, and of course, as with all the questions and those that are also included in the question and answer feature, we will certainly make the answers available before the close of business day, first working day after our AGM, and similarly, our intention is to also post the answers on our website page for each person who is in attendance, so you can visit off and have a look. But we did take note of the question that you would have put together there, Miss Altia Alcock. Correct? Please unmute and make your contribution.
I put in a question there. It was regarding audit. I know that that topic has been exhausted, But what I really wanted to know was, what is the criteria for selection of an auditor? And is there a defined process that allows for transparency? That's
Neil?
the first question. I don't know how to unmute. I don't know if you're not hearing me. Hello?
No, I am hearing you. Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah. So that was I had two questions. One was regarding the audit, because you all select 3 auditors. I don't know if there is a defined process for selection, one that is transparent, because I agree also that the fee is extremely high. And I would like to know if there's some way to inform the membership as to what is the process whereby you'll select auditors and what is the criteria.
And question 2?
And question 2 regarding interest on loans. Someone made mention just earlier about a 0.5% interest on loans. And the question and the response being, if you have enough shares to cover your loan, you supposed to qualify for the 0.5%. My question is, what can cause a person who has enough shares to cover a loan and still have a high interest applied to their loan?
Neil, you want to?
So you have enough shares in your account and you're borrowing money that is less than the amount your share balance, and yet the interest that is applied is more than the 0.5%.
Neil, are you there?
Okay, so regarding yeah, hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we're hearing you better now, Neil.
Okay, yeah, great. So regarding the question for the loans, now usually a member makes a decision in applying for a loan, whether it is they're requesting a fully secured loan, or whether it is they're doing a promotional loan, whether it is they want an ordinary loan. The rate in which a member gets will depend on the application the member puts in. But as usual, the loan officer will advise if once there is sufficient shares to cover the loan being borrowed, the loan officer will advise there is the fully secured product at which you obtain a 0.5%. However, that being said, it's up to the member to decide. Well, yes, and of course, no member is gonna shy away from that offer. But the decision is based on the member's application. The credit union will not normally decide who gets a 0.5 and who gets a 1%. Once the member have met the criteria that's required for any particular loan or promotion, they will be entitled to that.
I wouldn't pursue that anymore. I will deal with that in another forum. But regarding the audit fees, is there a predefined process for selection of the auditors?
Right. So all auditors basically firstly have to be picked from an approved list issued by the commissioner's office. And from that, we will normally send out requests for tenders, requests for a quotation from an auditor. As part of the evaluation process, the cost is taken into consideration. However, the experience the auditor has regarding whether it is they have experience in credit union, or if they don't, will factor in. And as previously said, one of the key things that we look at is all auditors go through a process of, as called, practice monitoring, which their working papers are reviewed by ICAT, which is our local accounting body. And they go through a process of pass and fail. So our auditors, we will select if it is you have passed your monitoring process, because that gives us a level of benchmark to indicate that you will carry out a minimum required amount of work that's necessary to complete the audit, because you have passed your monitoring process with our local body.
Okay, and who conducts the review of the applicants? Is it is there a special committee?
No, it comes to the entire board.
Oh, to the board. Okay, thanks.
Right, so Ms. Keisha Felix, and also before you go, Keisha, I just wanted to let you guys know that it's 3:49, and of course we did say that we want to agree to our rising time at 5, and we have our resolutions to go, and of course our elections is going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. So, I mean, those who have questions, you could also use the chat and question and answer feature. So, Keisha, you can go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I just have one quick question. My question is on the TransUnion fees. That was 4,300 and change, and now we budgeting for 33,000. Can you explain that, please?
Sure. So the TransUnion is recently introduced by the credit union, and this basically allows the credit union to pull a credit report from a credit rating agency. That was implemented in late 2020. The cost is normally around $70 per report. So it is expected that the cost for this year, which will be over a 12-month period, will be around 33,000, or thereabouts 35 reports. The cost increased simply because it was only kicked in late into 2020.
Thank you very much for the clarification on that. Next thing, seeing that's how that was implemented, would that affect our loans, seeing that as they was talking about earlier, if you have the shares to cover the loan that you need, but your credit score is bad, that the company that company shows, would that affect the loan you are getting?
No, actually, there's a policy written regarding the TransUnion, and one of the criteria is once it is your shares are covering your amount being borrowed, the report will not be required because our loan will be safe or no risk.
Good, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. Good. So just like to allow Ms. Avian Brown, whose hand is up for a while. Avian?
Thank you, Mr. Jagdale. Going back to the conversation of loans, in that conversation, the topic of delinquency must arise because loans is one of our pillars in the credit union business. Could you tell us what the status of delinquency is? It was not captured in the credit committee's report. So I don't know if the treasurer yourself could answer us. What is the delinquency status? What are the strategies, what are initiatives going forward to curb it with respect to credit loss provision? Because I realize that is a big chunk of our money is the credit loss provision. So please advise us on the delinquency status and how you plan to deal with it.
Neil?
Sure. So firstly, the expected credit loss IFRS 9 model is basically based on expected future loss, and basically the model follows that it requires you, from the time you have granted a loan to a member, from that point in time, you need to take into consideration your organization, and by that the risk regarding lending. How much do you normally write off, or how much you normally lose based on bad debts? But basically, from day one of the loan, ask you to provide an expected loss. It doesn't necessarily that means that that particular loan will be lost in the future, but that the provision it requires you, the standard requires you to do that. Our current delinquency is probably thereabouts about 9 million of our total loan portfolio. Currently, there's a subcommittee that are actively looking at loans that is in arrears over 120 days, which accounts for around 5 to 6 million of our total delinquency portfolio. Part of the initiative is that we have currently, we have prepared a lot of files to arbitration where people are basically going through the process of us trying to recover, because some of the delinquent loans are mortgage loans, vehicles loans. So we have actually had a judgment recently where one of our loans we were able to get approval for recovery of the person's property. But basically, that's the process that we're looking at. Our focus is those 120 days and over, with the intent, which makes up the majority of our delinquent persons. And this is simply a fallout from 2018 when Patrick closed to now. And we have basically moving people along the process where we unfortunately have to take them to the commissioner to get judgments to repossess.
Mr. Johnson, you said a lot of things and I didn't quite grasp your response with respect to the percentage, with your strategies, because as you indicated there, the delinquency is going up. And what you haven't given us the percentage. I haven't heard, I've only heard about arbitration at the court and stuff, but I'm thinking we need to educate our members, we need to reach out to them, things like that. I'm not hearing those initiatives. I know we're running out of time now on this platform, but maybe you can address it for all the members to see in the chat or whichever platform you would post the response to my questions, and that is delinquency, the status of it, the strategies to cure it, and the strategies as well to have the credit loss provision reduced, because I think it goes in tandem. So I look forward to that response. Thank you.
Thank you, Avian. Mr. Diro. Sir. Please unmute your mic and.
Hi, thank you very much. I'll be very swift, and I actually totally support the 5 o'clock cutoff. So one, I posted my queries on the chat, so it's not for response, so just for transparency. For the purpose of this session, I just simply want an opportunity to voice it. So I'll take 1 minute to do that. One, I see the question was already in part raised as regards to 700,000. So my question on the chat is to simply give us as a way of a disaggregation, the percentage that was allocated for payment to our hardworking committee members and board members, and what are the other expenses associated with that 700,000. And I really appreciate seeing that. Secondly, I see a line item on education committee of 75,000. I'd like to understand better why it is pulled out as a separate line item. Does it concern procurement, or some clarification as to why it was not already included in the committee and board expenses? Thirdly, I support the move towards improved transparency in our business model. Sufficient attention, I think, was paid to explaining in the annual report our business model. Given the response today, I feel heightened attention should be placed on the issue of procurement, transparency, and cost effectiveness. I don't see much mention about being of cost containment and cost effectiveness. Thank you very much, Barry.
Thank you, Indira. And Mr. Lewis.
Good evening to all. Follow-up question to what Ms. Brown would have asked with regards to delinquency. The question is, in spite of COVID-19 situation and as some other members have mentioned before, loss of employment, the economic climate of the country, and so on, is it that you all have been exercising every or all avenues to try to ensure that the members do not reach delinquency, meaning meeting the members halfway means to do that, which is to really have some of those members, I'm privy to the fact that some of these members are willing to pay, but have been asking for some level of return in terms of making their payments and so on. So, is it that you all are actually doing all that is possible and ensuring that the accounts do not go delinquent and meeting members somewhere halfway?
Okay, MTS, I know you could just use this opportunity to just shed a little light on the committee and how we normally interact with members, especially the subcommittee, and meeting with members who come to us regarding assistance and stuff like that. Could you just mention a couple on it?
Yes, Chris. Thanks very much. At this time, I did not get clearly what the member was saying or what the member was asking. Very broken up. So what I'll tell you about the subcommittee. The subcommittee at this time, since the formation of the subcommittee, have seen over 200 members on a weekly basis. We are seeing members on a Wednesday morning. Members who have problem loans, or members who have problem paying their loans. We sit with them. We come to a win-win situation where both the credit union win and the members win. Some members will reduce their loan. Some members, they decide, okay, I will take from my shares and pay towards my loan at this time until I am probably re-employed, because there are a lot of people who they are unemployed at this time. Some people have salary being cut, but we sit with members to make sure that we in a situation, we're in a win-win situation where both the members win and the credit union win, because this is the member organization. They are the owners. We are just the managers. So, and we do go out to members and ask members who have any problem concerning their loan repayment and get onto the office, and the office will get on to us. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, MTS. And lastly, Mr. Wayne Lewis.
Based on what Mr. Mohammed would have said, it is just a matter of maybe not all members are treated in this regard, because if you meet people halfway, I think that's the approach, that's the way to go, and we all can be happy. At the end of the day, I like the tagline of this embracing change. Embracing change in terms of meeting people. Credit union is a movement, looking for people assisting people, the poor man bound, and it's all forward and embracing all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Lewis. And I must thank all those who would have asked the questions. It is our responsibility to provide the necessary answers. I know many who would have not gotten the opportunity to ask questions they would have utilized the question and answer chat. And as I did indicate earlier on there, we will certainly be having a look at the questions when we pull our report and certainly putting the necessary answers and sharing with the entire, all those who have been in attendance. We will be sharing the questions and answers to you all. So please do look forward for that. So thanks a lot, Neil. And of course, members, now I would like to invite a member to move a motion for the acceptance of the budget presentation to be taken. Please do so by raising your hand. Mr. Calvin Postam. Please unmute your mic and make your contribution.
I, Calvin Postam, so do move.
Thank you, Mr. Postam. Can I have someone to second? Ms. Christina.
Good afternoon. I, Christina Bahadur Hussein, so do second the motion.
Thank you, Christina. At this point in time, I would now like to launch a poll for acceptance. Poll has been launched. Please select one from the choices down below. Great. Our poll has now ended, and I will now share the results with you. For 56 persons, against 6, abstain 10. Members, budget has been accepted. Now at this point in time, I'll just like to hand you over to our secretary, Ms. Claudette Lewis Green, to carry us through our proposed resolution. Claudette.
Good afternoon. Resolution 1, appointment of auditors. Whereas the Commissioner for Cooperative Development has drawn up a list of approved auditors for the accounts of cooperative societies in accordance with Section 51 of the Cooperative Societies Act, Chapter 8103, and regulations thereof. And whereas bylaws 22K of the Trinidad Penal Credit Union requires the annual general meeting to appoint an auditor for the ensuing term from the list of auditors approved by the Commissioner, be it resolved that Maraj Mohammed and Company be appointed auditors of the Trinidad Penal Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited for the financial year ending December 31st, 2021. I so move.
Can I have an invite a member to second such motion? Lazina Hussein.
I, Lazina Hussein, second that motion.
Thank you, Lazina. I'd now like to launch a poll for general acceptance. Resolution 1. The poll has been shared. Our poll is now ended. I'd like to share the results with you. For 72%, 44 persons, against 7 persons, abstain 10 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, resolution 1 has been accepted. Now I'd like to hand you back to our secretary, Ms. Claudette Lewis, for resolution 2.
Resolution 2, distribution of surplus. Whereas the credit union has realized the net surplus for the financial year ended December 31st, 2020, And whereas bylaw 12 of the society makes provision for the distribution of this surplus in accordance with the regulations of the Cooperative Societies Act, Chapter 8103, be it resolved that a dividend of 3% be declared on member shares as at December 31st, 2020, and credited to their share accounts. And be it further resolved that any account which is in arrears, the said sum be credited to the outstanding loan and interest, bylaw 12C. I so move.
Thank you for that. Can I invite a member to second? Mr. Ralph Mitchell.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I, Ralph Mitchell, do second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Are there any questions? I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance of Resolution 2, distribution of surplus. Our poll has now ended, and I would like to share the results with you. For 69 persons, against 1, abstain 2 persons. Ladies and gentlemen, Resolution 2, distribution of surplus, has been accepted. And now I'd like to hand you back to our secretary for Resolution 3.
Resolution 3, Dividend Equalization Fund. Whereas the uncertain economic environment is likely to adversely impact future earnings, the Board of Directors established a Dividend Equalization Fund, bylaw 12G, to safeguard payment for dividends for future years. And whereas the proposed amount of $1 million from the 2019 year was not used, it is proposed that the $1 million be carried forward to future years. Be it resolved that the sum of $1 million from the 2019 net surplus be carried forward to safeguard dividend payment for future financial years. I so move.
And I now have someone second such, Ms. Hyacinth Smith.
I, Hyacinth Smith, second the motion for Resolution 3.
Thank you, Ms. Hyacinth. I'd now like to launch a poll for general acceptance of Resolution 3, Dividend Equalization Fund. The poll has been launched. Kindly select one from the choices below. Our poll has now ended, and I will share the results with you. For 73 persons, against 1, abstain 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Resolution 3 has been accepted. I would now like to hand you over to our secretary, Resolution 4.
Resolution 4, Building Fund. Whereas bylaw 12G of the society states the balance of the net surplus may be used at the discretion of the general meeting for the constitution of a building fund. Be it resolved that $480,000 be transferred from the retained earnings to this building fund, which represents a portion of the surplus for 2020. I so move.
And I invite a member to second such motion. Linda Regis.
I, Linda Regis, second that.
Thank you, Linda. I will now like to launch a poll for general acceptance. of Resolution 4, Building Fund. Please select one from the choices listed below. Thank you. Our poll has now ended, and I would like to share the results with you. For 71, against 2, abstain 4. Ladies and gentlemen, our resolution 4, Building Fund, has been accepted. I would now like to hand you over to our secretary for resolution 5.
Resolution 5, Group Life Insurance. Whereas bylaw 22(1) of the Trinidad Penal Credit Union states, powers and duties of annual general meeting shall be to deal with any other business duly brought forward. Be it resolved that the Trinidad Penal Credit Union has entered into a contractual agreement with Trinity Insurance to provide a life insurance of $50,000 per member. And be it resolved that the annual premiums of $294 shall be deducted from the members' dividend or shares effective June 2021. I so move.
I'd like to invite someone to second such. Mr. Ananias Johnson.
Ananias Johnson, I beg to second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I'd now like to run a poll for general acceptance. Poll has been launched. Our poll has ended, and I would like to share the results with you. For 60 persons, against 13, abstain 7. Members, resolution 5, Group Life Insurance, has been accepted. At this time, I will now like to hand over to Ms. Marcia Goodrich, our returning officer, who will lead us through elections of board and committee members. Marcia.
Good afternoon, everybody. Members, especially invited guests and panelists. I am Marcia Goodrich Constantine, returning officer. Now, first thing, I'd like to have your credential report, please. You heard me? I'd like to have your credential report, please. Your credential report stands at persons in attendance, 116, registered members in attendance, 108, and your quorum, of course, is 50. Thank you very much. And having accepted your nominations report, I'd like to go in because time is of essence to us. We start with the supervisory report, the supervisory committee. Right, the supervisory committee nominated Mr. Omar Maharaj, Ms. Claudette Paris. I'm not seeing the name below. The other one is Mr. Danny Jatan, the gentleman showing here. I'm not seeing his name. May I have his name, please?
We have Mr. Omar Maharaj, Ms. Claudette Paris Burkett, Mr. Danny Jatan, Mr. Ivan Ashby, and Mr. Shiraz Rajab. Yeah.
Okay. And thank you. And how it works is that the highest votes, of course, is we're voting for 3 persons. I will invite nominations on the floor in a bit. There's 3 persons you're voting for, and the other 2 are alternates. The highest vote will be on your supervisory committee. May I invite the floor open for nominations at this point? If there are none, may I have someone cease nominations?
I would like to nominate Mr. Malachi Songs, Melanie Young Songs.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that name clearly.
Repeat it again. I would like to nominate Malachi Songs, Melanie Young Songs.
May I have a seconder? Miss Melanie Young. Thank you. Any other nominations for supervisory committee? Miss Christina.
I would like to move a motion on nomination, please.
Thank you. May I have a seconder?
I, Ralph Mitchell, will second the motion.
And thank you very much. And your poll will be open for one voting for everybody at the same time, yes? We'll give you sufficient time, about 10 minutes or so, to do that. We'll invite the credit committee at this point. The credit committee as follows, as nominated: Mr. Winston Sami, Ms. Razama Hussain, and Mr. Wayne Peter Cyrus. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Open the floor for nominations at this point. You need 5 persons, just to remind you, to form your credit committee. And you only have 3 at this point. Do I have any other? Mr. Mohammed?
I, Imtiaz Mohammed, do beg to nominate Jeremy Maharaj.
Jeremy Maharaj. Could I get a seconder?
I, Narissa Mohammed Ramisa, would like to second.
Thank you, Ms. Mohammed. I saw Mr. Winston Sami. May I have a nominee?
I, Winston Sam, would like to nominate 3 people. Mr. Calvin Sargent.
Okay, would you do it slow so that the committee can get them to put in the names into the program so that members can see, please, right? Yes. Mr. Winston Sami, heard me?
Yeah. All right. I'd like to nominate Mr. Calvin Sargent.
Calvin Sargent.
Mr. Renald Felix.
Renald Felix.
And Mr. Kelvin Pustam.
Kelvin?
Pustam.
Thank you. Do those 3 names have a seconder? Yeah, why my hand not going up? Oh, okay. I'm seeing it now, Ms. Hussain. I second that motion. Thank you very much. Are there any other nominees for the credit committee?
Good afternoon. I'd like to nominate Natalie Ashby.
And is this, who's speaking then, Ms.
Nicola Ashby.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get who is nominating.
I'm nominating Natalie Ashby, nominator Nicola Ashby.
Thank you. Nicola Ashby. Can I get a seconder?
Lydia Ashby seconded.
Okay. Are there any others? See Mr. MTS and Mr. Sami Hannah.
I beg to move that nomination cease. Imtiaz Mohammed.
Okay, I saw another hand up before your hand, Ms. Ashby. Is it the same thing, Ms. Ashby, earlier on? To cease nomination?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So could I have a seconder to Mr. Mohammed's ceasing nomination? You are Ms. Ashby?
Yes, I second the motion.
Yes, thank you very much. May I have the Board of Directors at this point, please? Okay, and you need 3 persons for your board. And of course, the 2 alternates, or as we call them, substitutes, as it is. So for your board, the nominees are Mr. Neil Johnson, Dr. Gregory Ransom, Mrs. Hyacinth Smith, Mrs. Avian Brown. I'm not able to see the name. Can you take this slide up a bit, please? To see the names below. No, for the board, yes. Right, I'm not seeing the names on my screen. I'm not able to see your names. So the last persons.
Okay, we have Miss Christina Badu Hussain, Mr. Prem Haripal, Miss Altia Alcock Burton, and Mr. Jagannath Siram Maharaj.
And thank you very much. Those are the persons nominated. I'm going to open your floor. You have persons for your board for 3, but I'm still going to open for anyone that would like. It is the applicants in your bylaw. Mr. Mohammed?
I so beg to move that nomination, please.
Okay, is there a seconder? Mr. Sami?
Hi,
Mr.
Larissa
Sam?
Miraj, move that nomination. Well, I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sam?
Okay,
your
I just wanted to ensure that the name I have nominated, Mr. Rudolph Felix is the name, not Renaud Felix. I had made a mistake.
Okay, thank you for the correction. Let me just ask the committee if they're able to have the names that are nominated. Thank you, Mr. Sam. You can lower your hand at this point. That you all have those who are nominated, but for supervisory credit and board.
Yes, we have the names.
Okay, I'm opening your floor in essence of time. And please vote quickly. I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes. So the most chairs that are the allocation time.
Altia, if you can just give us a couple minutes just to update it on the software, and then I'll immediately get back to you so you let them know that the portal has been opened.
Thank you. So we'll run the name at the main one. And again, just to remind you how it works, the highest votes in the case of supervisory committee, the next 2 proceeding are your alternates. Same thing for credit is 5 persons, and the next 2 will be your alternates. Your board of directors, because you are 9 and it's quarter, your bylaw say quarter, is 3 persons, and 2 are the alternates. So the highest votes will go to the different persons. Members, do we have any questions at this point in time? Make sure that is up for you all to go. No? Okay. I'll give them a few minutes. May I remind you that our corporate officer, Ms. Marina P, is also with us.
Pleasant afternoon to you all.
Okay, Marcia.
Okay, thank you very much.
We have just activated the ballot. So through you, members can now click on the link that would have been shared with them. And of course, they will be able to go and cast their vote.
Okay, is it possible they can see the screen as to the different committees?
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Put back up the screen for the committee.
Sure. It is now 4:28, and again, in essence of time, I'll give you 5 minutes. I know I said 10, but time is not on your side. So I will try and give you 5 to 10 minutes. If it is that you think you need time, just raise your hand and we'll note it. Yes, so allow the portal to stay open. The poll is open.
Yeah. What? No. Yeah, what?
Members, have you all voted? It is not quite 5 minutes yet, but I'm hoping that you all will have been voted so that we could close that poll. Can you respond by way of your chat? Chair, would you be able to tell me? Chair, Mr. Mitchell is saying that he's not able to see the voting poll. Okay, a number of you are still voting. Ms. Ashby is also asking to find the poll. Mr. Torres, you would like it to move to 10 minutes? Is it that you're not getting to vote? Because you know that time is of essence to you and you do have a bylaw. Is there any reason you wanted to move to 10 minutes? Difficulty? It's insufficient. So noted, I'll allow the extra 5 minutes.
Welcome on.
Some persons have indicated on the chat that they are having difficulties voting. Is it possible that you can check the link for me, please? I see Marina have put up for somebody, Missy Luck. And Mr. Fraser have said he's not seeing the voting link.
Marcia?
Yes.
Yeah, let some of them check the spam mail and see if it went to the spam mail.
Okay, you all heard that. To check your spam mail and see. And I've allowed the extra 5 minutes, the 10 minutes that originally allotted. Could you check your spam mails, please? Miss Ashby indicated that she checked her spam mail and she's still not seeing it.
And Miss Lydia Ashby, her invite, her link was sent to lydiaashby@hotmail.com, and we do have the notification whereby it was sent.
Okay, thank you, sir. Miss Ashby, you heard? Miss Peaches Francis is also having a challenge. Miss Francis, did you check to see if you have it? Refresh and see.
Ms. Peaches Francis McNish email was forwarded to pmcnishtpcu@gmail.com. These are the email address that they would have put in when they would have pre-registered.
Thank you, Chair. Please check again, members. You have just about 3 minutes. Members, you have 2 minutes. I hope all of your issues have been resolved. Is there anything else urgently to get to your voting poll? Can we close at 4:40? I'm asked to remind you that you would have to change your password upon logging in before voting. Thank you, Jovan. It is 1 minute to 4. Anybody else need more time at this point in time? If I declare a voting poll closed, it is now 4:40. I'm going to declare a poll closed. Going once, going twice. Show by a raise of hand if you need more time. Poll is now closed. Mr. Jackie, you all can initiate the results. Chair, would you like the meeting over at this point, or would you like to hold until the results come right after? I know it should just take a few minutes.
Yeah, we can do the results right after. I am now forwarding you the document, so you will have it as well as we could refer to it on the side here.
Okay. You forward it through my admin?
I sure will. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Marcia, I have sent it.
Yes, I've received it. I'm just printing it out.
Okay, great. You'll see it in a second.
Thank you. Am I seeing you also? I'm not getting back on.
Yeah, we're seeing you.
You see me? Okay, your results, I'll read it as follows. If you don't see me, your results as follow. For your nominations, the board of directors, I'm seeing your nominations report. I'm not seeing the results itself. Let me just check back again. Okay. Hold on a second, members. Okay. You see me now? Okay. Thank you very much for waiting, members. And your results are as follows. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, we are.
All right. And you have how it's printed. Your credit committee as follows. I'm just reading it on the first part. Mr. Winston Sami, 61, Ms. Lazama Hussein, 68, and Mr. Wayne Peter Cyrus, 18. So your credit committee comprises of those three. You have no substitutes. Hold on, it's not clear. I'm now seeing this right. The rest of the substitutes, sorry, for your credit committee. I'm also seeing Mr. Jeremy Maharaj, a report printed in half, Mr. Calvin Sargent. Are you seeing it, Chair?
Yes, we are. We're following
Right.
along with you.
If you can call, yes. If you can call it because it's not clear on my print. So I'm seeing Calvin Sargent as the first and Rudolph Felix as the second, 45 votes and 40 votes. But I'll call out Mr. Jeremy Maraj, 21 votes, Kelvin Pistam, 30 votes, and Natalie Ashby, 15 votes. So let me call over that credit committee for you. Your first credit committee, Mr. Winston Sami at 61 votes, Mr. Lazama Hussein at 68 votes, and the third is Mr. Randall Felix. No, Mr. Randall Felix at 45 votes. Your two substitutes are Mr. Calvin Sargent and Mr. Kelvin Piston. Yes, Chair?
Masha, credit committee is 5. Credit committee 5.
Credit
committee is 5.
That is
right,
correct.
so your 5 credit committee. Your substitute then will be 21 Jeremy Maraj and Natalie Ashby. Oh, here it is up on the screen, right. Are you seeing the screen? Now I have your supervisor, your board of directors. Your board of directors, your 3 board members are Mr. Neil Johnson, he's at 50. Miss Christina Adeo Hussein at 46. And Mr. Dr. Godfrey Ransom at 28. Yes, and your 1, 2, and 3, and then you have your alternate. Your super alternate will be at 27, Miss Smith and Miss Brown at 17. The other results for the other persons are Mr. Maraj at 3 and Miss Alche Britton at 11. I don't know if members are seeing the screen. And then I have your supervisory committee. Your supervisory committee are as follows, your 3 persons. You have a 60 vote Mr. Maharaj at 60, Mr. Jatan at 47, and Mr. Ivan Ashby at 33. The other votes are your 2 alternates, Miss Claudette Paris Burkett at 19, and Miss Malad Tong at 23. Other vote is Ms. Rajab at 12. The supervisory committee comprised of Mr. Omar, Mr. Daniel Jatan, at 47. And Mr. Ivan Ashby at 33. So Chair, those are the results as it is. Members, did you hear?
Marcia,
Yes.
with all due respect,
Member, I'm not hearing you, MTS.
yes, the fourth alternate,
Yes.
Jeremy with 21.
Which is this committee?
Credit committee, credit,
Yes,
credit.
credit.
And the second should be the person with 18, who is Wayne Peter Cyrus.
Okay. Thank you for the correction. Would you like me to call it over?
Yes, for the members, just for the members.
Sure. So for the credit again, it's 5 persons for your credit. Mr. Sami, Ms. Luzama at 68. So it's broken up here as it is. Mr. Felix, Mr. Sergeant, and then I have Mr. Pustam. Your first alternate you're saying is 18 at Mr. Cyrus. Right, I'm not seeing it.
No,
And
first alternate is Jeremy Maraj with 21.
21, Jeremy Maraj.
18.
Go ahead and call it MTS.
Okay, the first alternate is Jeremy Maraj with 21. And the second alternate is Cyrus with 18.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm not able to see a screen, but okay. I'm seeing the screen, but very light, and thank you very much.
I do beg to move a motion for the destruction of the ballots.
Electronic ballots. Yeah. Do we have a seconder? Chair, didn't hear. MTS, you are hearing?
I only hear you, Marcia. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing anybody who's seconded or anything.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you.
I only hearing you alone, Marcia. I'm not hearing anybody else.
Okay.
Umar Maraj, I beg to second.
Thank you. Can we move for the poll to get the destruction of the ballot? Okay, Umar Maraj. Thank you, sir. All in favor?
Aye, aye.
Okay. Chair, hand it over to you.
Thank you, Marcia. And of course, special congratulations to all those who are victorious in elections. Right. At this point in time, as I had indicated, back to our agenda, we have the proposed amendments to our bylaws. However, as I did indicate earlier on at 5 p.m., that we will have our rising time. So we have about 8 minutes again. So at this point in time, I would like to get Ms. Claudette Lewis to start with the reading of the bylaw amendments. Okay. We have 8 minutes, 7 minutes again. So when is at 5 o'clock, we will adjourn at that point in time, and we'll continue along at another meeting of which we will schedule to continue the bylaw amendments. So at this point in time, I would just like to have the AGM moderator share the screen. Of which,
doing that.
Okay. So we just had some intervention there from Ms. Marina Pierre, who indicated that at this point in time, it doesn't make sense that we go into that. right? So at this point in time, right, I would like again to thank those members and them who would have participated in the polls, those who were successful. Of course, Ms. Marcia Goodrich for overseeing the elections, and most importantly as well, Ms. Marina Pierre and her group for also supervising and being a part of our AGM this afternoon. Right, I am sorry that time didn't permit us to finish what we have indicated in our agenda, right? But unfortunately, we have no control over the restrictions that have been enforced, which is our 7 p.m. Curfew. But again, I do like to thank each one of the members who would have been participating today, right, for taking into consideration the guys and the team who is on site and also ensuring that they reach home safely within the curfew hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I would just like to adjourn our annual general meeting. And of course, another meeting will be scheduled whereby we're going to go through our bylaw amendments. Okay, so again, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I would like to thank you for attending our virtual annual general meeting. And I'd just like to bring the curtain down on Trinidad Penal Credit Union's first ever virtual annual general meeting. I thank you. And of course, from all members of the board of directors, the committees, education committee, credit committee, supervisory committee, members of staff, and all those who have worked diligently to ensure that, we had a successful annual general meeting online. I know it's a difficult task, and it was certainly a learning curve that a lot of the members of them had to quickly get onto in order to participate. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for participating. Thank you.